Hey everybody, thanks for joining us again today. Over the holidays last month, we were able to find some treasures in the attic, you might say. At Michael's parents' house, we came across a box full of old home videos of when Michael was a little girl.
Reliving my childhood over the past few weeks.
A lot of cute stuff in there. We were able to convert it into digital and been watching it on the computer here, and there is just so much. We're looking forward to sharing more with you on that.
So fun.
But also in Michigan, we went to Michigan to spend some time with my parents over the holidays, and we came across some doodles that I had done as a kid.
Doodles, nothing. A whole box full of artwork from like 9 years old to maybe 14, 15.
Anyway, so we're looking forward to sharing some of that stuff today. But talking about the home movies of Michael's, it was amazing to me just to watch, like, ever since she was a little girl, I guess, like, watching the intentionality of your parents and specifically your mom in the time she devoted into teaching you things. Like, I mean, I know there was homeschooling and stuff like that, but there was also scripture memory. You're not just quoting a verse here and there. Like, you're
Mom
quoting
was
chapters.
very, very intentional.
It was amazing. You want to talk about that? Sounds like it really is
Mom
amazing.
was amazing. Mom made Bible memory and learning and Bible study. She made it so much fun, and her and Dad, they just didn't miss. It was an everyday thing, and Mom put motions with it and sound effects and songs.
When he opened his mouth, he taught them sang. Listed all the promise, spirit, for the kingdom of heaven.
Looking back and seeing all of these memories, I have a lot of gratitude for my mom and dad, but I also feel like some of the things that maybe we're wanting to share with kids now came because Mom made it so fun in my childhood.
And to talk about your mom teaching, like, as I'm watching through these things, I've noticed oftentimes in the early years, she was sitting in front of you doing those hand motions, but she wasn't actually saying anything. Like, you were remembering the words just by the hand motions, and this was for like extended periods of time. That was amazing.
Oh, Mom put so much. I'll never be able to thank her for all the time and effort, but scripture memory was really important to her and Dad both. And when they were newly married, they started memorizing Matthew 5 together. And I want to say Zach was 3 and I was 2, but Dad would go to work every day, and Mom said that one day when she laid Zach down for a nap, she heard him in his bed rehearsing the verses that he had heard Mom and Dad say.
At 3 years old.
At 3 or 4, yeah, little bitty. And Mom said she realized that he was old enough to memorize scripture. So then her and Dad started working with us every day to just try and figure out, like, how much can you learn? Is it, a phrase or a sentence or, a verse?
A chapter?
Well,
yes, actually.
They started out slow with us, but I remember Mom would memorize it, and then she would create the motions, and then every morning she would work with us. In my early years, as, the family was growing, I remember Dad having to go to work before we would get up because he had an early morning job, and then he would come back for a bit and go to a second job. And we had a little cassette player, and he would record himself doing Bible study for us. So then when Mom would wake us up, it would be Dad's voice doing Bible study for us. And they were just so dedicated to us having that every single day.
It really is amazing just watching these. Like, you're probably reliving your childhood. I feel like I'm getting to know you as a child.
So many memories.
It's just like all your parents put in to not just educate, but it really seemed like to make it fun.
They made it so fun. And I feel like I'm seeing, like, this is a pattern that they've kept now, even watching Judson and Jeb. They're still working on scripture memory every single month. They've just stuck with it.
Now, going through all these home videos, another thing I've noticed is that you are several times with a whole bunch of other kids in front of church singing. You want to talk about that some? It's not just scripture memory was a lot, but there was music. Seems like it was in your family a lot in the early years too.
Music was a really big part. It was really important growing up. We got to sing with children's church, and Miss Lynn Satterfield, she was our teacher for church, and she just taught us old hymns. And so between Mom singing hymns at home frequently and having music in the home, and then going to Miss Lynn Satterfield's every Sunday. I don't even know, it was so young. But she would teach us not just one verse to the hymn and not just kid songs, but like 5, 6 verses to all these hymns. And I still have those today. And we always got bubble gum. Chewing gum was my absolute favorite. And after too many times of getting it in our hair, Dad said we couldn't have bubble gum until we got married.
Oh, whoa, you had to wait years then.
He got lax, so we got it again when we were older. But in those early years,
that would be tough.
Yes, we'd take our hair
Getting
down,
gum out
we'd
of
get
hair
home
is
from
not
church,
fun.
and it was, I think it was very frequent.
I have to chuckle though, as watching these videos on my computer, I noticed as a kid, you really seemed like you loved singing.
I love music still. I can't sing. I really don't.
That's not true. She sings well. She's a good singer.
Yeah. Anyways, I love music. I always have.
Sissy, how about you? Are you gonna sing tonight? What are you gonna sing?
I'm singing.
Is that a new song you wrote? What's the rest of it? Does it have any other parts?
Let's get going with it.
That's all you need.
And I think that came from Mom and Dad. They very much loved music.
And that was actually something that stood out about your family when I first met you guys, is how well you sang as a family. And I heard your family sing multiple times, and no two times was the same song. It's just like, you do so many songs, but you sounded great together as a family.
Oh, we had fun together.
And it looked like, now one thing I noticed is it didn't seem like anybody was shy.
Dad just said sing loud. Sing loud and smile. That was all that mattered.
Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense then, because anytime I would see them, you would see even like the little guys, Jackson, Ward, and Isaiah, you know, they would be really...
All your heart.
Seemed like singing their heart out, and it was really, really cute to watch.
It's fun to do it all together.
It really is.
Even if it doesn't sound the best, because we didn't always, harmonize the best or sound good, but it was fun. So we found the old home movies. We found some old home movies from you, but then we also found so much of Brandon's artwork, like an entire box, hundreds of pictures.
Not hundreds, but there's a lot.
Too
many.
Like hundreds.
Too many.
And I don't know if you saved it, your mom saved it, but I am so grateful because just seeing like the gifting and the talent that God gave him at such a young age, and now still having a love for that into adulthood. Yeah, watching him draw is what made me first want to do a YouTube, just watching the nieces and nephews engage as he would tell Bible stories. But then seeing some of this art, like, this has been a lifelong skill set developing. So much creativity. Like, I look
a lot
at
of
some of
crazy
your
imagination.
pictures.
I was like, what was I thinking when I drew that? I don't remember, but I do remember my brother making fun of me for making noises while I was drawing, because I would be into it. Like, there'd be a story with every picture, and I would be living out that story.
Immersed.
Something was always happening. Either an animal was chasing somebody, or somebody was coming to attack, or a dragon was flying over, going to do something destructive. And it was just like I was living the picture, but I didn't realize I was making noise.
I would have loved to see him in this phase.
And I just remember my brother, who is 5 years older than me, sitting across the table, and just hear him go, just make all these random noises. And I look up and he'd be staring at me like I had been making those noises and I didn't know everyone could hear me. So I was a little embarrassed about that.
It was such a treasure to find those when we went home for the holidays. And I pulled out some of my favorites because he's never going to take credit for how good he is. But it's just so fun to look through. So, all of these were between 11, 12, teen years. And they're just I wonder what was going on in his mind when he was drawing these things.
Remember.
And what stories were there. This one is the Battle of Jericho. And he would have just been early 12. Have a ram, but just the detail and the expression that he puts on all of his characters and animals. This type of talent at 12 is just
first place elephant right there.
To me.
I don't know why he has a gold medal, but
I love this granny. Every time I see it, it's one of my favorites. She's like a classy granny. This one makes me think of Sherlock Holmes and Watson. I don't have a clue what you were thinking.
A couple
but...
kind of sign. I don't know. That's probably who they're supposed to be. Oh no.
Grandparents at the ballroom, and it's just so sweet. My grandparents love to dance. They don't do ballroom, they do shag, but still it's so sweet. This one is fascinating. He's a warrior riding a dragon, and just like the detail on his sword and his scales, and then he has like his armor and his cape. It's just...
Once I turned into a teen, I was very much into medieval times type things. There's always a princess getting saved from a dragon somewhere.
I think
the
we
guys
just
had to
reached
come
that
save
era.
her. But I mean, you'll see a lot of medieval type.
Here's a knight. These are some of my favorites. They're like, because I love to sew, these just fascinate me. But they're costume pieces for armor, and like how he was gonna dress his characters, and just the detail and the mouth guard and the chin guard and the helmet. So a lot of these costume pieces, I would just
It was a bad guy right there.
I would love to put these into real life.
That was the villain.
This one is incredible. This is more lifelike than some of his cartoon ones, and she's so beautiful. It's hard for me to imagine a 13-year-old drawing this. This girl is rapidly making lists.
I think it was a reporter, journalist, something.
These are some of my favorites I saved for last, and they're Bible characters, and so it just...
I was probably doodling that during church. Don't tell anybody, but that's probably when
This
it
makes
happened.
me think of the Good Samaritan. I don't know if that's who he was, but that's what I think of.
I think so.
And then this final one is the resurrection and Mary, and it's just... He just captures so much detail in him, and it's so fun to go back through, and so this is just a little background of where I feel like my heart for him to do art lessons and to share the Bible stories to captivate kids, because watching kids draw and just seeing this creativity spark and come out is so cool to me.
Well, thanks so much for joining us today. We are looking forward to sharing with you more of these things that we came across over the holidays.
Our treasures.
Yes, the old home videos. There's so many cute moments. I'm looking forward to sharing those especially. But
There's so many fun memories.
There are. But anyway, thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you next time.